many coaches have a fear of being themselves in the coaching world. If I talk about this, if, like, for example, you have a fully spiritual encompassed message. And some coaches feel like if I do that, then the business guys are not going to like me. And if I do this, the Christian people aren't going to like me. And if I do this, the non-spiritual people, and they get themselves into this, somebody's going to be mad at me if I just be myself.
Right. Forget those other people. Just forget it. Who are your people?
Well, welcome to The Abundant Coach, and I have such a good one for you. And this one has been a long time in the making because I've known this next speaker for a long time, since I was just a baby coach myself, and a great friend and someone that I'm just absolutely thrilled to bring to the program and to have her share her gifts, her wisdom, her talents with us. So I'm going to read her bio and then I'm going to call her in. So Beth Perkins is an international best-selling author, teacher of shamanism, creative writing teacher, and a vision quest guide, which we're going to be talking a lot about today. Beth has studied extensively and received advanced spiritual initiations with shamans worldwide, including Michael Harner, Juan Núñez del Prado, Alberto Villoldo, Marcela Lobos, and Evelyn Eaton. Through her revolutionary shamanic process, shaman visioning, Beth empowers people to break through hidden barriers of limiting beliefs and embrace their greater purpose. As a global authority for the past 30 years, Beth has been seen on Apple Plus TV, Roku, Amazon TV, and Google TV. She leads high-powered vision quests, healing retreats, and shamanic events in the Pacific Northwest and throughout Western Europe. She has shared the stage with Jack Canfield, Mary Morrissey, and Michael Harner, to name a few. And she has taught spirituality and religion in numerous universities and colleges for over 30 years. Beth is a Regent Scholar, receiving both her MA and BA in philosophy from the University of California, Santa Barbara, or as us California kids like to say, UC Santa Barbara. Beth Perkins, welcome to the stage, and I would love for you to start us with a prayer.
Thank you, Lauren. It's just so amazing to be with you. We were both baby coaches together. So that's a great expression. So, as you said so beautifully, I've been practicing shamanism and initiated by shamans worldwide for many, many years. And one of my favorite prayers that I like to start all my vision workshops and webinars and master classes with is from the Sámi people. And they are in the far, far north of Norway and Sweden. They're the reindeer people, right? And it goes like this. So I just invite everybody who's listening to take a nice, slow, deep breath of life, whether you're driving or walking your dog or whatever you're doing, and just take in these words of beauty. The earth is a circle. The moon is a circle. The sun is a circle. The drum is a circle. We are a circle within a circle. We share an interdependence with all of life. We have a unity with all things.
Beautiful, Beth. So tell us about the helping spirits.
The helping spirits, I'd like to do more than tell. I'd like to show.
Yeah.
Show and tell.
For everybody listening, you're going to hear it. And for everybody who's eventually watching this on YouTube, you're going to see it.
So helping spirits, the healing spirits, they're the compassionate spirits. They sometimes called power animal helpers, sometimes called spirit allies or teachers. And they reside in the hidden universe, which is also sometimes called the parallel universe or the upper world, the lower world, the middle world. And, you and I were thinking, why not call them in? Why not invite them to come in to this amazing podcast and this awesome work that you're doing and that I'm doing, and have their presence here and available, really. I'll take this even one step farther. available. If somebody is having a really hard time and they're listening to this, they can just reach out and invite these spirits to come into their lives as they're listening to this. Ask for healing even. So um, it's great. It just like expands the power of what we're doing to have them here. And they come with love, beneficence, humor sometimes, incredible helping power, healing power. So I'm going to use my rattle for just a few minutes. And I like to call in the powers of the four directions. And I always start in the east, just so people kind of demystify, right? Well, what is this shamanism thing? We all know what the east is. The sun comes up, right? So we'll start in the east and go to the south and the west, the north, and then the shamanic lower world where the power animals live, and the shamanic upper world where the teachers in human form live, like Kuan Yin and Buddha and Tara and the Buffalo Calf Woman and all those great beings. So I'll just do a little whistling also. Whistling just gets the spirit's attention. Rattle gets their attention. And also, we have to be careful here, Lauren. We don't got to go too far into a trance state. Right? We've got an agenda here, so watch out, okay? Here we go.
All right.
Calling in the power of the great eagle in the east and the power of vision to guide us in our lives. Calling in the power of the south, the great mountain lion, bringing the power of unconditional love into all that we're doing today. Calling in the power of the west, the great grizzly bear, that power of introspection and the inner knower who knows. Calling in the power of the north, the great buffalo and the great reindeer. Power of wisdom, the power of our ancestors and the elders. Inviting in the power of the lower world, the great power animal helpers, the wolves and the bears, the elephants, the cheetahs, the dolphins, the whales, the polar bears, and inviting in the powers of the upper world, the great teachers, the spirit allies, like Buffalo Calf Woman, the Blue Medicine Buddha, Kuan Yin, Tara. All of you who can come and be with us, show up, help us, help those who are listening here today if they need help and want help. We thank you. Gratitude to you. Blessings. Love back to you. People on you. Giving back to you what you give to us. Thank you.
Amazing. Every time I work with you, Beth, or have the privilege of connecting with you, my heart just opens to the sky.
Woo!
I love it. I have to tell you something. The audience will appreciate this. I don't know if you remember this, but when I first moved to Wyoming, we were chatting on the phone and we were talking about something. And I said something to you like this. I said, Beth, every time I visited Wyoming, I could feel the mountains. I could feel this. But since moving here, my energy feels funky. I feel like part of me's like still in San Francisco and part of me. And I started telling you this and you said, Lauren, this is how I remember it. So tell me if this is something you would have said. This is how I remember it. You said, Lauren, you are standing in the shaman's net of power. Tap in. And that helped me so much that I am and you gave me some things that I could do, but I've always remembered that anytime I start to feel disconnected from the earth or too much in my mind, I remember you telling me you're standing in the shaman's net of power.
Yeah.
So helpful. So would you just indulge me, but also share with the audience, why did you tell me that? And what did you mean by that?
Yeah, the shaman's net of power. It's the web of being and becoming, that massive cosmic web. We're all part of it. To the listeners, if you're driving your car right now, or you're in your room listening to this, or you're out gardening, or wherever you're doing, we're all connected, but we forget we're connected. We just have to put our hands out like plugging a lamp in consciously and go, oh, connect me to the power of the stars. They're everywhere. They're in Wyoming. They're in San Francisco. They're in Half Moon Bay, right? They're in Chile. They're in, in Sámi land. We just had that beautiful prayer from the Sámi people. The sun, the moon, the stars, the Milky Way, Pachamama, the earth herself. It's everywhere. We are Pachamama. We are the earth. We have that potential to really connect, but we live in boxes and we drive the little boxes, cool ones, RAV4, woo, Lexus, Mercedes. I mean, but it's like a box, and it, just roll down the windows and I mean, it's everywhere. This life force is what it is. And in the Vision Quest work that I do, that is so much of what each Vision Quester, whether it's a man or a woman, regardless of the age, what each person gets reconnected with is the life force, the power that's always there waiting. The sun is a circle, the moon is a circle, we are a circle. We have this possibility of reconnecting. And that is so much of what shamanism is about, what the Vision Quest is about, what all my work is about, inviting people like what do you do in the morning? Well, I get up, I put the tea kettle on, I go open the blinds. I'm fortunate I live quite near the Monterey Bay in California, and I watch for that orange band on the horizon. The sun's coming, it's like 6. And get connected with that life force and draw that into my life. Breathe that in, and I say that prayer. Thank you, Spirit of Life, for this precious gift, a brand new day. It's never been lived before. And I bring that brand new day inside. I breathe it in, I draw it in, and I feel myself, just like you pour water, spring water into a glass, fill yourself up with that. It's available all the time. And at night, oh my God, did you see the full moon last night? And Mars is right there. It's like, wow, talk about power. Woo! you know?
I love that, Beth. It's interesting living in Wyoming, and you told me about tapping into the shaman's net of power. The first time I stepped outside at night, I had never lived in a place that wasn't filled with lights and city. And
Right.
I saw the stars, millions of them. I mean, I can see when I walk outside my house, the Milky Way, that band of
Arm.
yes,
Arms.
the arms.
It's a spiral. Yeah.
And the first time I stepped outside, to my humanness, it almost felt overwhelming.
Yes.
But then I remembered what you said, that this is part of me that I can tap in, that it was so helpful. So I'm thrilled to get into this. So you mentioned the Vision Quest work. So let's just dive right in. What is the Vision Quest work that you guide people through? And I know that you do it online. So, like, just tell us about that experience.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, the Vision Quest. I mean, it is as ancient as human beings, right? It used to be called a pilgrimage. All of our ancestors did this when they were in times of questioning, even physically sick, um, doubting, kind of lost their way at a crossroads. We call it modern day times crossroads. And there are still ancient sites that you can go visit, like um, in ancient Greece. You can go visit Hygeia's dream temple, and in Egypt, Isis's dream temple is now beneath the Aswan Dam, but the energy's still there. In Malta, the dream temple is up on top of the hills, and in North America, we call it the Vision Quest. It's all the same. It's all of our ancestors did this, and there are times in our lives. I know I had a dark night of the soul after finishing my PhD program at UC Santa Barbara. Um, I didn't want to teach philosophy. I didn't want to carry a briefcase and wear skirts and hose and be writing on the was then a blackboard, right? Then it turned a green board, writing on the blackboard and talking about all these guys. I knew that wasn't for me. And I just went into a dark night of the soul, and I lived off the grid, we now call it. I went and lived in a cabin in the southern Santa Cruz Mountains. No electricity, no phone, um, no, no. There was a wood burning stove and cold water, basically, no refrigerator. And I wish I had known about the Vision Quest then, Lauren. I was very lost. You know what Dante calls the dark, thick wood. I was just in it. There were no signposts. There were no road maps. Now, I help people find the shaman's map of power, that the inner GPS, I like to call it. It's in there, but I had to spend 3.5 years figuring this out on my own, off the grid. And I finally did. I had a dream. Dreams are a big part, I think, of, for all people all over the world, of presenting signposts, giving us hints, sometimes more than hints. I mean, big shout outs. Hey, look at this. This is really important for you. I'm remembering a dream I had last night, just suddenly. So, being lost and unemployed and $100,000 in debt, PhD programs, it's just like, oh my God, what am I doing? I've lost my way. And the Vision Quest helps a person find their way, but not the old way, the new way, the way forward to what is that greater purpose? What is what is that larger purpose? We say in the coaching world, you are meant for more. There's something greater that's calling to you. And very often this shows up in dreams. Um, but people often don't know how to interpret this. So you get in a Vision Quest, and there are these amazing tools and ceremonies. Ceremony is really where it's at, to create markers and to find your way and to let go of the old. I had to really let go of that old identity of, I'm supposed to be a tenure track philosophy professor. I'm all these Phi Beta Kappa and Regent Scholar, all that stuff you just read. I mean, I'm all that, but that doesn't have any meaning for me right now. What am I doing? So what did I do? I plugged into the shaman's net of power. I would lay on the ground and be with the Milky Way at night. Watch the red-tailed hawk circling. Got to know the tan oak trees and the wild herbs up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. I had no idea what I was doing, but there was this inner GPS that was guiding me. I've always been so connected to the earth. It was nature-based healing, and I had eczema, I had ulcers, I had all kinds of problems when I got into this Girl Scout cabin up there off the grid. And it was the natural world that healed me, that brought the pieces of my life that were floating around together into a new kind of configuration, a new kind of wholeness. And I had a dream. Can I just share the dream briefly? It was an amazing dream. What we in shamanism we call this a power dream. And so I'm standing on the shore of an ocean and I'm looking out there and I see something bubbling up way out in the ocean. And this statue like comes up out of the depths of the ocean and I'm looking and I'm going, what is that? And then it like comes to life and it comes to shore and it's a goddess. It's the goddess Nike, the goddess of victory who, guides the Greek warriors when they're in battle. Go here, go there, don't do that, pull back. It was the inner guidance system that was showing up. I didn't know Nike, I didn't know anything about goddesses, but I followed her trail and she had this brass cylinder about this big, like 4 inches in diameter, and she handed it to me. And I opened it and I pulled out this long piece of parchment paper, and it was written in some kind of script, a language I didn't know. I don't know if it was Chinese or Japanese or Arabic. I couldn't read it, but I knew this was the map. This is the inner GPS. This is what I've been looking for. And so I just followed her lead. And I studied all of these ancient goddesses. I didn't know there were goddesses of the moon. I didn't know there were goddesses of the sun. I didn't know there were goddesses of the earth. I didn't know there were priestesses and Amazons riding bareback on horses and matriarchal cultures. This was like unknown then, right? It was just the very beginning of the woman spirit movement. So I got on that wave and I started teaching that in colleges. I found my purpose. But it was the hard way to do this, Lauren. 3.5 years. Who's got 3.5 years? Whoa.
Right.
I'm
And as soon as you say
glad
that,
I did that.
I'm like, oh.
So I took those teachings. All of my work goes back to that time period. I got out of the dark night of the soul. I took those teachings and learnings and voila, the Vision Quest. And it's a 3-month program, 90 days. And every week we're working on something inside, right? It's an inside out kind of a job. What's going on inside? Yeah, we'll work with the clutter and the boxes piled up and the relationships and the forgiveness and, all of that. But it's so much it's inside that wants to shift, wants to heal, wants to change, wants to grow in new ways. And the Vision Quest gives a framework within which, to do that. And it used to be all my work was in the Swiss Alps or the Italian Alps or the Mojave Desert. And then I brought it all online. Thank goodness I did that just before COVID hit. And so, people don't have to carry an 80-pound backpack anymore. They don't have to go through the anguish that I went through in 3.5 years trying to find my soul's purpose. And it's a way of connecting with Holy Mother Earth, with the helping spirits, learning the shamanic journey method, and getting connected with what you're talking about, the shaman's net.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so. How does someone start? Is there like a start? Is there okay? So let's go back to the beginning before I even ask that question. For someone who doesn't have experiences with shamanism or doesn't know what shamanism is, can you give us a little bit of an understanding of what that is?
Sure. It's something that all of our ancestors once practiced. We wouldn't be here right now if we didn't have strong shamans in our background. So shamanism is the world's oldest spiritual tradition. You follow all the world religions down the world tree into the roots, and there is shamanism. All of our tribes, regardless of the continent we might come from or continents, we lived with shamans, and they could find the wandering herds of animals. When people were hungry, they knew how to do a shamanic journey and go find where are those. They could find lost people. They could heal somebody, fell off the horse and hurt themselves. They could heal the broken bones. They could heal the soul that may have left, bring that soul back. They could find the new cave that the whole tribe needed to move to. They were the storytellers. They were the seers, seers, the seers. And all of our people lived with shamans. And we all come from shamanic roots. If you go back on your mother's side or your father's side, pretty soon you come to your tribe living with shamans. And, I'm so grateful that my tribe survived and thrived because of who the shamans were. They're also often the artists, the musicians, the cave painters, all those really good, important things in life. And so you're asking, what is shamanism? Shamanism, okay, has been around for, let's say, 75,000 years. And it is a way of connecting with your soul and connecting with the life force, with the helping spirits, with the earth itself, so that you can live your life in a way that you're grounded, you're dialed into your greater purpose. You've got your allies with you when you're on the LA freeways, when you're on the 405, you've got your power animal here with you, you've got your teacher behind you. So, whoa, the near misses, those are our helping spirits, really, who are watching over us. So, shamanism is actually red hot right now because it's also a way of becoming like an earth keeper, getting connected with the earth and what is happening with the animals all over the earth. They're really counting on us to step it up here and do the things that are going to help them survive, right? So, um, well, I could say so much more. Ask me another question, maybe.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So let me ask you this. So my understanding of you, Beth, is that shamanism came first and then coaching. So
Hmm.
let's hear about how those two worlds collided.
Oh, okay. They didn't collide, really. That's a great word. I like that. It reminds me of like splitting the atom, right, in Switzerland, and
Yeah.
those things, of collision and creating the God particle, right? Tom Hanks, that great movie, right?
Yeah.
So for me, they just seamlessly merged. So what can I tell you about that? Yes, I was already teaching shamanism and um, found Mary Morrissey, or she found me. Something, all of that happened, magic, and dream builder, life mastery, the laws of the universe, the different ways of perceiving. I mean, that's all in some way that is shamanism. Really, there's no separation. So it was seamless. It was seamless for me, really. And um, I have my own way of doing. I can't remember what is it called. In dream building, when you go look ahead in your life 2 or 3 years, what is that called?
Oh yeah, like time machine.
Time machine. Thank you. Okay, I can't relate to that, but I can relate to the shaman's blanket, and I have a very old 100-year-old shaman's blanket that healings have happened, cures. Shaman used it, right? It's right behind me, and when people come into a discovery call with me, it's one of the things I love to do. We talk about, what's going on in their life. And I work with 5 domains. For me, 4 is not enough. The 5th domain is the spiritual path.
Hmm.
So key, so central to all the people who want to work with me or are called to work with me. And I like to take them on the shaman's blanket. It's called shaman visioning. And there's something about this, an imagination, and quantum physics, and Albert Einstein, and the shaman's blanket that really, I think, ignites the imagination,
Yeah.
really ignites it. And In my breakthrough calls, sometimes I have witnessed major breakthroughs that people have right there when they get out of the box. So we've been talking about, right? The box of the car, the box of the house, the box of the TV, and they hear the rattle, something loosens up inside, and they just go on the shaman's blanket. They feel so supported by the blanket. It's from the Pueblo people. It's very, very old. And it's so soft. It just, I don't know. It's better than a DeLorean. What can I say? It's a
Yes, yes.
like,
I love it. I feel it. It's powerful. So when you, in your bio, you talk about being initiated. What is a traditional, maybe there isn't one way, but what is an initiation? And do you do that with your vision questers?
yes, that's a great question. That's a very perceptive question. This is what I love about you. Woo! You do not miss a thing. Okay. Yes, I do that with my vision questers. Absolutely. There are many forms of initiation. Um, some of them pretty extreme that I have been through. I won't go into those, but ask me the question again.
Yeah. So what is it? I said, what is a traditional shamanic initiation? But then I said, maybe there is no traditional, but do you take your vision quester? Do your vision questers go through an initiation?
Yes, that's it. Okay, let's talk to that. That is bite size kind of. So yes, I think the initiation that vision questers go through is what you described so beautifully in the beginning about you step out on your front porch and for the first time in your life, you see all of this at night and you realize, oh my God, it's been there all along. Oh my God, I am part of that. That is part of me. And you start to Carl Sagan, we are the stardust. Judy Collins, get ourselves back to the garden. We are golden. We are stardust. The initiation is to really remember and feel and experience and be somehow changed on a cellular level. So you start to be able to do your vocation in a much fuller, freer way. And you can step out of the chains of old resentments and old hurts and old betrayals and do things like the Death Lodge, which comes from the Cheyenne people, and really free yourself up, empty yourself out. It's all about empty out, empty out, empty out. And then there is a night where a person builds what's called a purpose circle, simple circle of stones or rope, um, maybe on the back porch or in the backyard or on the balcony, or if it's snowing, like I have vision questers in Mount Shasta with blizzards, right? And it turns out this is the night, and so they do it inside, but with the sliding glass doors open. They get in that circle of purpose and really calling out to the helping spirits, to the healing spirits, to sacred ancestors for a vision. And that is a night of initiation. All night being open to receive, and you're empty because you've done all these months of preparation of letting go. It's called severance. It's just our ancestors did this too, right? They just did it in different kind of ways. They went into dream incubation rooms and were shown lay on this low bed close to the earth, right? That's the key, really close to the earth. Call out to the earth mother for a dream, ask for healing, and she comes every time. This went on for thousands of years because it works. And shamanism has been with us for 60, 70, some rock researchers, carbon dating, they're saying 100,000 years now. It's been with us because it works. And because every shamanic practitioner does the work in his or her own way, with his or her own spirit. So you become your own spiritual authority. So back to the idea of initiation. Yes, there are, I would say, initiations upon initiations, some of them very small, some of them, getting connected with the rising sun at dawn. And that sounds so simple. But when you're inside of this container of ceremony with other visionary seekers, and everybody's doing the work, and they're in Colorado doing it, or they're in Connecticut doing it, I'm in California doing it. It makes such a difference. It's tribe. You're inside of a tribe. And you see that sun come over the rim of the horizon. It does something when you're open, and when you welcome that influence, that power, it's called. One of my teachers, Don Jose Matsua, he was Huichol. He lived to be 112 years old. Amazing, from Mexico, the Sierra Madre. And he just would say, what is missing on the planet at this time is you've got to get your love out to the sun. You've got to get your love down into the earth. You've got to get your love out to the ocean. And then this can happen. It's like we start to restore your life with where we come from, with power, true sources of power. So that's part of the initiation, is getting connected to true sources of power. And one of them is having a vision, like Moses did this, right? He went up the mountain, and there was the burning bush, and there were the tablets. I mean, Muhammad did this in a cave, right? So many of the great spiritual leaders, Jesus of Nazareth, 40 days and 40 nights, right? On a quest. They didn't call it a vision quest. They called it, I don't know, 40 days and 40 nights. And things happen. What happened with him? What's he wrestling with? The DEVIL, the demon, right? The paradigm, we call it in coaching. The doubts,
Yes.
Kick fear to the curb, the hesitations, the fear, the I'm not good enough, or who do I think I am? And the Vision Quest deals with all of that. Some of it is in ceremonial ways, some of it is being on the earth. It's just so magical. It's magical. And there's a New Year's Vision Quest. It still has a couple openings in it. I don't know if I can invite your listeners to, hey, if you want to talk with me about this, Lauren is going to post a chat to a discovery session with me. It's completely complimentary. If you're somebody and you'd really love to know more about where you are in your life right now, or you feel some kind of invisible barrier has been holding you back, you'd like to identify what that is and get some action steps going, right? To move past that boulder, through that glass ceiling, past the wall. A lot of my vision questers call it, I'm up against a wall. It's the wall, right? There's ways to get around that and through that. And the vision quests give you so many tools and ceremonies. So that's part of the question you were asking about. Are there initiations inside of the vision quest? Did I answer that piece?
Yes, you did. Beautifully. And yes, we'll make sure we post Beth's link in the show notes so that you guys can just click and get on over.
Cool.
Yes. Okay. So what I would love to hear, I have so many questions bubbling up, Beth. So I already know you're going to have to come back for a second episode because I have so many questions. When I think about you, you seem to so fully embody who you are, yourself with a capital S, and so passionate about the things you speak of. Many coaches have a fear of being themselves in the coaching world. If I talk about this, like, for example, Beth, you have a fully spiritual encompassed message. And some coaches feel like if I do that, then the business guys are not going to like me. And if I do this, the Christian people aren't going to like me. And if I do this, the non-spiritual people, and they get themselves into this, somebody's going to be mad at me if I just be myself.
Right.
So tell me
forget those other people. Just forget it. Who are your people? That's so much of what the Vision Quest is about. And I struggled with that when I was a young Vision Quester. I'm only 30 years old. I'm a young professor. Who are my people? I was already teaching at the college, the religion, the spirituality, the mythology, medicine wheel, dream work. But I knew there was something more that was calling to me. I knew there was a larger, I didn't even know the word audience, but I knew there was a larger audience. And that was part of what I vision quested about. Who are my people? So I came to realize largely women and men who are searching for their greater self, for the true self, the authentic self, who want to be finding their way somehow with nature based healing techniques, who are open to ceremony. Maybe they're not spiritual, but they're open to the idea that there is something larger at work in their lives. And it didn't matter about, I've worked with Catholic nuns in the Vision Quest. I've worked with so many people from so many different backgrounds, business people, doctors, lawyers. That's really, I think, not the issue. Well, it wasn't for me anyway. Um, it's like, who are your people? How is it? What is your gift that you want to give that's going to help your people, whether they're Christians or Jews or Muslims or um, Buddhists or Jainists, or what is the gift? The gift is a universal. That's one of the things in the Vision Quest and in all the workshops that I lead. I'm so aware that people have a gift. And very often the gift is still in the gift box and the wrapping's still on it, the bow's still on it. So, when I say the people that are wanting to go farther, that want to get out of those, it's paradigms, right? Well, they're not going to like me, or they're not going to like me. So what? I mean, let's take the ribbon off, take the bow off, or maybe it's rawhide that's around it, or a skin or something. I don't know what your box is like, and just open the lid and just at least look in the box. Let's do it right now. Just imagine, whether you're driving or with your dog or wherever you are in the garden, just sitting in your living room, you have a gift, and most people haven't let themselves really look at that gift, really consider that gift, honor that gift. Just look at it. What is it? You've got a gift. What is it? It might be, helping people with building their business. It might be music. It might be writing. It might be poetry. It might be spirituality. It might be a combination of all of those, like it is for me. Um, so you're talking about fear, right? It's fear of,
The fear that if they truly shine their light, somebody's not going to like it.
well, that's true. And who get?
I mean, that's the truth. I'll tell you a story, Beth, that I think you'll love. I think the audience will love. I was coaching with Mary Morrissey in a program that we used to have called the Gold Program. You were in the Gold Program.
I was in the gold program with you, baby. Yeah.
And I was thinking about going from having a smaller group program that I had always had to now having a large master class with lots of people. And I came to Mary Morrissey, our founder, and I said, Mary, I just feel like I'm going to this bigger group and people are going to be mad at me and they're going to think I don't want a small group coach them. And they're going to think I just want to make money and they're going to think this and they're going to think that. So I'm waiting for some spiritual message from Mary Morrissey, like some transformational thing. And she looks back at me and I'm saying, and they're going to think this and they're going to think that. And she looked back at me and she said, they will. So now you get to decide, are you going to share your gifts, talents, and do what you want to do or not? Just like you just said, it's like, it's interesting how the mind wants to focus on the people who aren't, the things that aren't. And there's so many people, like when I listen to you, Beth, I'm like, I could listen to Beth all day. I don't even think, I mean, for me personally, I don't even think you need a marketing message. I'm just like, let Beth talk and the people, the people will gather. Because when you say you go and you question, you're asking, who are my people? I believe that as coaches, if we stayed true to that, really true to that, all the people come out of the woodwork. I mean, recently Beth and I were connecting because I did some sort of a 5-day challenge or something, and I mentioned Beth for 10 seconds. I just said, "Oh, this is Beth Perkins. That's her dog Sky Bear. She's a shaman and she does coaching." I literally mentioned her for 10 seconds, and someone calls Beth. And I think that tapping in this way that you're speaking of, and really knowing who we are and what we offer, I think it solves 90% of it. Yeah. And then we just can sprinkle some, I don't know, marketing or whatever you want to call it on it. But I think the more true we stay to the message of who we really are, actually the easier it is for people to follow us, because then they're not confused.
Right. We're being authentic. And people can smell that and feel that and taste that and hear that, with the whole body. And
Yes.
authentic.
Yeah.
There's more to this, though. I mean, this is such a big question that you're asking. And, thinking about fear. And what was it? Joe Vitale, one of the coaches who I've worked with, he was listening to somebody, Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, who said, "Here's the fact about fear. You feel it for 90 seconds in your body. That's it. It's just 90 seconds. And then you decide if you're going to keep that going or not." And we do. We just feed it. We feed that fire. We just feed it with all the things and the stuff we've heard as kids about who we are, who we aren't, and all of that stuff we work with in the vision quest. We do death arrows. We do vision arrows. There's ways to really unenable that, unwire, we say as coaches, unwire those old beliefs, rewire, reinstall new beliefs. But from a shamanic perspective, it's okay. Yeah, that's all there. Let's honor it. Let's thank it, and let's burn it, baby. Burn it. Death gone. Make the emptiness, and then okay, what is the vision we want to install? What's the new belief we want to install? Who are we truly? Vision arrow. Make the arrow. Launch it out in the natural world. So fear is just fear. It's just 90 seconds. It's no biggie, but we make something quite large out of it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Okay, so I have a couple. I'm trying to fit in as many questions as I can fit in the time that I have.
You're doing a great job, Lauren.
We'll do part 2. So you mentioned something that felt so potent to me when you talked about that dream you had at the beginning. And I would guess, perhaps like me, some people on this are some people are listening and saying, "Well, I want to." What did you call it? You called it a
big dream,
a power dream.
Power dream, yeah.
So if someone's saying, "Well, I want a power dream," can you create something in yourself that when you go to sleep, you can have and experience more of these power dreams, or more dreams that don't feel like so much gibberish and have more clarity?
Yes.
Will you be willing to tell us how? In the short time we have.
It's like, the shamanism courses that I teach online, Healing Path of the Shamans and the Power Path of the Shamans and Walker Between the Worlds and Unleashing the Shaman Within. The short answer is you've got to clean your bedroom. Really clear out every single bit of clutter. Maybe you make a very small altar in there with, a tarot card, a statue of Kuan Yin, a hunk of turquoise, a simple candle. You make the sleeping room a sacred space. That's what so much of the work is about, a sacred space. Like that's what we did, Lauren. I'm so grateful that I suggested let's work with this. Let's make a sacred space so people step into this. They're going to get so much more from it. So you make the sleeping room a sacred space. Hang up all the clothes, as Bob Proctor says. Get the socks off this floor, And you know, and then you get in bed, no electronics. You don't want TVs, you don't want to be Kindle, no blue light. Really important. And you think about, I would like to have a healing dream tonight. Whatever spiritual force you connect with, Kuan Yin, Buddha, Allah, Jehovah, Jesus, you just call on that beautiful power, that beautiful source, and say, maybe it's your power animal helper, the wolf, the cheetah, the bear. Please send me a healing dream. I really need a healing dream tonight. And you have your journal and a pen and a flashlight right there on the nightstand, which makes it so easy. When you wake up, you turn over, you get up to use the bathroom. Before you get up, before you turn over, you really look carefully. What was I dreaming? And you write it down. Don't turn on the light, turn on the flashlight. Keep that connection with the dream time. It's like the veil between the worlds. Keep that connection there. Don't break it with the lights, if possible. Write it down, whatever there is, just write it down. And then you go back to sleep, maybe in another position, and you ask again, please send me a healing dream. I'm open. I want to receive a healing dream. You wake up, you write it down, even if it's a fragment. You write it down, and you keep that practice going. It works. It's sending the message to the unconscious. I'm open. I want to open those doors. I'm listening. I'm here. I'm present. Show me. Show me. Show me. So, for all the people listening who might be in, dark night of the soul right now, or loss, or tragedy, or it's a beautiful healing ceremony. It's a starting point for healing to come in a dream.
I love that. I want to hear a little bit about how you, as a coach and teacher and shaman, how do you stay fresh? And what I mean by that is, like, how do you stay enlivened with it and passionate with it, especially when you've taught something multiple times? Sometimes that newness of teaching it wears off. So how do you stay? Is it reading? Is it poetry? Is it doing the practices yourself? Like, what keeps you with that potentness, if that's a word?
Well, I drum. I have a drum. I drum. I walk outside every day, and I have a golden retriever, and he helps so much to remind me, feet on the earth, Beth, feet on the planet. And I have a morning practice with the sun, and well, it's much more elaborate than that, but I don't know. You want to talk about that, or?
I do.
Yeah, okay. Of course you do.
Yes, I want to hear everything.
So I write down, or I think, one or the other, 10 gratitudes. And I really feel them. I am so grateful for this home that I live in. I am so grateful that I saw otters yesterday on the bay. I am so grateful that I woke up today. I'm so grateful that Sky Bear wanted to go out. We got to be in the grass, and I got to look at the water. And I'm so grateful for the clothes that I'm wearing, the shoes on my feet. 10 simple, basic gratitude. Oh, the cup of tea, let me tell you. The cup of English breakfast tea, and the red cup, and the half and half, and the honey. 10 gratitudes. And then I like to think of a few people in my life who I have challenges with. The sacred friends, His Holiness, the Dalai Lama calls them. And I send love to them, one at a time. That feels so good. And then I like to sit quietly for 5 or 6 or 7 minutes, just in the emptiness, just being there. And I breathe. I think of the trees outside, looking at these amazing oaks and these 200-year-old Monterey pines and the Monterey cypress and the eucalyptus, and I thank them. I'm aware of the incredible gift. We wouldn't be here without the trees and the grasses. And I breathe, nice, slow, deep breaths, fill up with oxygen. Release 3 deep breaths and breathe out and let it go. And create this kind of readiness, right? And I write. I'm an author. I'm a 2-time international best-selling author. Writing. I mean, there's something about writing. Then after that, I write, and it gives a place on the page for so many things that happened yesterday. It just gives it a place, lets it go out of me, and I think on the page. Right now, I'm creating a new let's see, what you call a vision workshop, what I call a masterclass workshop for this Saturday. I'm leading an in-person live retreat in Mount Shasta, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, up on the mountain, going to sacred places of power and passing the Munich rites of initiation from the Peruvian shamans that have worked with me, passing those rites, those transmissions. And so, I'm writing about all that, and I'm figuring things out, and I'm just engaged with my life, That really makes me come alive.
I love it. I love it. All right, I'm going to ask you the question. I'm just taking notes. I got 3 pages of notes going here. So I want to ask you a question that I ask everybody on this podcast. And that is, if you were building a coaching business from the ground up, meaning you maybe were just newly certified, you'd never done it before, you don't have an email list or a funnel or any fancy schmancy stuff, and you're just building a coaching business from the ground up, what would be the first step that you would take?
I would contact Mary Morrissey, without a doubt. I would get in contact with her way of working, of the 10 steps of dream building. That is it. I mean, you could not do anything more enlivening than that. That's what I would say. From a professional standpoint, is that the kind of answer that you're looking for?
Yeah, because I mean, the truth is, with the 10 steps of dream building and getting connected with that is, you know where you're going and you know how it works.
Exactly. You've got ground under your feet and stepping stones. It's so important to have stepping stones and to have a mentor. We can't do this work without a mentor, right? I mean, I would be nobody without Michael Harner and Alicia Gates and Juan Nunez del Prado and the incredible shamans who have worked with me, and Mary Morrissey and Matt Boggs and Rich Boggs and John Boggs and, oh my God, Jennifer Joy Jimenez and you. And we've got to be fed. And somebody who not only has done the work, but is doing the work, who works with other people, who knows the traps and can help you spring the trap. Yeah.
Love that, Beth. Beth, I loved having you. We have Beth's link in the show notes for those of you who would like to book a session with Beth because you're interested in her work. Beth, what a gift you've brought to all of us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on.
Fun. Thank you for the invitation that just kind of came out of the blue. It was so cool.
I'm thrilled. Well, for everybody listening, we will see you on the next episode. Be blessed. We love you all. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you never miss a new upload. You can help our channel continue to grow as we invest in creating more great content for coaches. Lastly, check the description below for helpful links to the resources mentioned in this video. Thank you and have an amazing day.